I still now owe more than when I started. To put into perspective, I have one loan that's for $114,000 at like 7%, and I pay $900 a month for it.
Student loans are the modern day trap. People are taking insane amounts of money just to land a job that barely even covers rent. And it's not even their fault, but somehow that's considered normal. And this, my friends, in my opinion, is financial insanity. And today we're reacting to some crazy examples that I've seen on TikTok. If you're new here, my friends, hello, my name is Vic. I'm a registered nurse and certified life coach turned personal finance strategist. And over the last 4 years, I've gotten smart with my money and learned how to build real long-term wealth for myself while working an average NHS job. This channel is for ambitious men who also want to understand how to get smarter with their money too and avoid years of painful mistakes, because I know I've made a few myself. Just to be clear, this is not financial or investment advice. It's based on my own personal experiences because I always practice what I preach, and it's purely for educational purposes only. Also, my friends, I don't just make these videos for you, I make them with you. So if you've seen something wild financially on TikTok or Instagram or any other social media, my friends, drop the topic below in the comments. I read and reply to every single comment, and your comment might just help and be featured in the next video, my friends. Now let's get straight into the video. Please subscribe and share.
This is the reason why I will never shut up about my student loan debt, because I want to educate people and prevent anyone from doing the dumb shit I did. I graduated college in 2013 and I've been making student loan payments ever since. I recently calculated how much I've actually put towards my loans, and it's over $60,000. But because the interest is so high, even though I've paid over $60,000 towards my debt, I still now owe more than when I started. To put into perspective, I have one loan that's for $114,000 at like 7%, and I pay $900 a month for it. But because the interest is so high and the amount of the loan is so high, every time it comes time to make a payment again, that $900 is essentially back from interest, and it's moving nowhere.
I thought this guy was doing so well when he said $60,000 until he mentioned that bombshell of $414,000 worth of debt. I'm not going to slate him too much because I'm not from America. And I don't know like exactly the situation because I don't live in there in regards to like student loans and stuff. But I researched the average medical student debt, which I can see here is about $200,000. And that is perceived to be one of the highest debts that you will pay, because that's one of the best professions, well, basically anywhere in the world. This guy has over 2 times that. So I'm just thinking, what the hell is he got into this much debt for? In the comments down below, let me know what it is, especially people from the USA. Let me know what you think this is, because something does not add up here. So this guy has around $400,000 at a 7% interest, meaning that that is approximately, if I just go on my calculator right now, nah, 7%, that's approximately $28,000 a year that interest is accruing on top of the $400,000. That basically means that this guy, let me work this out, basically means that this guy has around $2,300 worth of debt in interest alone, not even actually paying off the debt itself, just the interest of it. And he's saying he's only paying $900. So that means every single month, an additional $1,400 is kept being added and accrued on top of his known debt already. My friends, type in a prayer emoji in the comments to help this guy get out of this debt, because this is ridiculous. I don't mean to bring humor into this, but it's literally like he's pushing on a parked car with the handbrake fully up and someone's revving the wheels, so the wheels are technically turning, but the car will just not move no matter how hard he pushes, because he's literally not making a bigger amount than the interest itself. And by the way, this is just this debt. I'm sure he has other expenses as well. But when you look at this video, he's actually driving quite a nice car. I don't know what brand the car is, but the seats look quite nice. The actual car looks good. This guy can't be spending money too well, because he's clearly not driving a normal second-hand car. He's definitely indulging in the nicer cars. If you don't believe me, go back and look at the video. Anyway, that's a crazy first video to get this video started, giving me a bit of a headache. We're only in the beginning of this video.
60 seconds, how crazy student loans are. Not student debt, not the price of college, but the idea of a student loan, right? In the world of finance, you have secured and unsecured loans. Secured loans are secured, backed up by the car or the house that you're buying, so that if you don't pay back the loan, the bank can take that item, that property back, sell it, and pay off the loan that way. Unsecured, there's no item, collateral, property, but there's still proof of, say, your actual income along with your credit score to know that you can afford to pay back the loan. Student loans have nothing. There's no security, there's no item, but there's no guarantee that you can pay it back. Only a hope that you will finish college, and that then will boost your income over your lifetime in such a way that you can then afford to pay back the loan. Neither of those are guaranteed. There's no guarantee you're going to finish your 4-year degree. I almost didn't. It took me like 6 years in 3 different schools to actually graduate. And then there's no guarantee that that will then boost your earnings. So you're just taking out a loan that you can't pay back.
This is actually crazy to hear because it's absolutely true. Problem is, what this guy's saying, completely right, by the way, and it's so scary, and this is why I just don't agree at all with the way student loan debts work in America. It's just because anyone that is not even financially educated, it's like 18, 19, you just go college and you easily go into 5 figures worth of debt. Some people even go into high 6 figures worth of debt, or even 6 figures worth of debt. And then you are expected to pay it. And if you don't pay it, it will affect your credit score, which then will affect you not being able to get a house, etc., etc. So it literally puts you in a bit of a rabbit hole straight away if you're not able to pay off that. You will probably not be making enough. After you finish graduation anyway, you probably won't be making enough to be able to pay that off quickly enough, but your interest will still accrue on top. So you really have to get your head in the game straight away after you finish college. Whereas here in the UK, we actually have an income threshold. You have to be able to earn a specific amount before you even pay any of your debts. And our debts are absolutely nowhere near what America are, which you again see a bit further on in the video. Especially those people that are from the US, please tell me what you guys think down in the comments below about your student loan debts. If you guys think that it's fair or not fair, it will be interesting to hear. And anyone watching from the UK, again, let me know down in the comments below, so then we can discuss it.
Today I'm going to compare what I pay as an international student in the UK versus what I would have paid if I stayed in the US and went to my top choice school in the US. I'm not going to name the US school because it feels kind of mean, but here we go. And this is all going to be in US dollars. Oh, and in the UK I go to the University of Edinburgh, by the way. For tuition in the UK, I pay about $25,000. Tuition at the US school is $56,000. For room and board, as well as groceries in the UK, I paid about $7,000. Room and meals at the US school is about $14,000. For personal expenses, I budget about $3,000. And for personal expenses, according to the website, the US school budgets about $2,000. For travel costs each year, I pay about $2,000. And the US school doesn't budget for that, so I'll just put zero, I guess. So my total ends up being about $37,000. And the total of the US school is about $72,000.
You can already see the comparisons between the UK and America, my friend, how different they are. However, it's actually quite interesting that she's paying any tuition fee loans because she's in Edinburgh. And actually, most of the courses, at least to my recollection, you don't have to pay for anything. And in general, in Scotland, they actually still stick with the old program, which you don't have to pay any tuition fee loans. This is if you're working in the NHS. Very quickly, I'm going to show a chart up right now between a UK graduate and a US graduate, and you'll very quickly see the difference. And my friends, yes, I did use ChatGPT to make this table for you. We're going to use an example of £35,000 a year UK graduate after graduating compared to the equivalent of US, which is someone making $45,000 a year, which is pretty average, quite reasonable amount, definitely. But as you can see, the monthly payments here, you can see they're substantially different because the monthly payment, the reason the US graduate has to pay so much more is because it is an actual payment. It's an actual debt for them. Whereas here in the UK, in order to pay any debt, you have to surpass a specific income threshold, which currently I believe is around about £27,295. And the way they work it out, take your salary minus that threshold, and then whatever that total amount is, the amount of interest calculated is actually done by the retail price index in the UK, plus 0 to 3% depending on which level you are. Let's take the salary of £35,000, right? If you deduct that from the threshold of around about £27,000, you can see you'll be left with £7,705 approximately. And you can see the actual interest of that repayment would, above the amount above threshold, would be approximately £700 a year. And then that's the figure you actually use to divide by 12. And that's the figure that you're actually going to be paying per month. But the better thing is that actually it's an automatic deduction, which the UK automatically use via PAYE, which is pay as you earn, which is basically all employers have this to be able to pay income tax and national insurance, as well as to deduct your student loans before you actually get paid. And the psychological impact, as you can see, the difference here is that it feels more like a tax. Your student loan feels a bit more like a tax, and not even a big tax. The debt is forgiven after a 30-year period anyway, whereas in America, you have to pay that debt off, so it feels more like a burden rather than the debt being forgiven at all. And the problem with any missed payments is, well, in the UK, it's nothing really, because if you're below the threshold, you don't pay, and even if you're above the threshold, you pay anyway, but you don't realize it because the money that actually comes to you after tax, you don't even realize was even taken out. It already comes out of your account before the money comes into you anyway, so you don't even feel it. And it's a very, very minuscule amount anyway. Whereas in America, not only do you have to pay it per month, and it feels like a debt because it is, and you have to actually pay it off, but it also affects your credit score, which can affect your chance of actually buying a house. I know it was a bit confusing, my friends, but I hope that made sense. Comment down below if you're from the UK or US and you actually didn't know anything about what I said, or even if you did, it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on this.
I just got paid from Piggy today. Let's be super financially responsible and pay down another loan. So from the past 7 days, this is how much I've made from the 3 piggies that are in my faceless OF. A fun fact, 1 out of 3 loans are already paid down. This loan is about $65,000. So I'll pay like 4 or 5 months in advance right now. I did that just now. As you can see, I actually used to do $30 a day for this loan because I thought that was convenient for me at the time. But now we are at a balance of 61K. This is my other Parent Plus loan for my dad. So I could completely pay this loan off right now, but it would completely wipe me out. Like I wouldn't have any savings. I wouldn't be able to, you know, put down money for like a new car. I don't have a car, so that would be a blessing. Like, you know, what would you do in this situation? Because this loan technically has a super high interest rate. And if I did knock it out, I would only have to worry about 1 loan left. So I just, it's hard. Money, oh my gosh, money gives me agita, but I want to be financially responsible. I feel as if right now, I don't think I'd want to do that, especially having savings for the baby, having savings for our family. That is so important. So yeah, what would you guys do in this situation?
First off, my friends, I find it absolutely crazy that this lady made 62K in 7 days. Obviously, this is gross volume. It's not net, so it's before taxes, but still, that is crazy. And I know she mentioned about faceless OnlyFans or whatever, but still, at the end of the day, look, someone is paying her. So I'm not going to judge anything. I'm not going to bring that into this conversation. But again, because the 62,000 is gross and not net, and she's also got the high interest debt as well, which she didn't specify what it was, but she said it was super high, which is quite worrying to say the least. Personally, for me, in my own opinion, I would try and pay off this compounding debt as quickly as possible, because the higher you leave it, the quicker it'll compound against you. And this is exactly what you do not want. So that'd be my first main focus. And because she doesn't have a car, in my own opinion, I would buy an approved used car. I think in America, the term's a bit different, but I wouldn't buy an actual fully second used car, just because in my own opinion they tend to have more problems. I'd prefer a garage to confirm that it's approved used and it's all right, rather than get it from an outside or a dealership or like a private lender that's not a garage, if that makes sense. But again, this is just my own opinion. And then with the rest of the money, I would personally just add it onto my emergency fund if she has not built one already, and just try to build 3 to 6 months of the emergency fund. That's what I would personally try and do, to cover all essential living expenses and fixed costs. And I feel by doing that, it's providing a pretty decent peace of mind for her moving forward. And also considering she's made $62,000 from these pigs or whatever, I don't know, she should be able in a month or 2 months make quite a bit more, I'd like to think, from that. Would you pay off the debt first or buy an approved used car outright as well? Or would you do something differently? Comment down below what you would do if $62,000, my friends, landed in your account tomorrow and you were in the same situation as this lady. Remember, my friends, I make these videos to help ambitious men to get smarter with their money so they can work towards building long-term wealth and just in general becoming smarter with their money. And when you want to go further with a like-minded community, this is exactly why I've built my online community, which is down in the link below, my friends. I'll leave you guys to check it out and hopefully see you there. I'm looking for the first 100 members to join to help me shape up the community. Of course, these first initial members have grandfathered rights for when the price does increase later on. And there's a 7-day free trial anyway, my friend, so there's no risk to you. And I would appreciate any feedback you have on it. If you found this video helpful, my friend, I'd appreciate you checking out the link below if you want to go further. More importantly, drop a comment below also and let me know what topics you want me to cover in future videos, or even just feedback on how I can make these videos better for you. YouTube recommends and thinks you'll like one of these videos. Pick one, and I'll see you over there, my friends.